All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to have another update because finally, Terence Crawford camp speaks out about the rumors of the Errol Spence Jr. fight and lets us know where things are in response to Floyd Mayweather Jr. saying that the reports are not true. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're in the welterweight division talking about Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. Terence Crawford's camp via Bernie the Boxer has come out and given people an update about where the fight is on their part, responding to the reports that were put out there by Ishe Smith, the former welterweight contender Ishe Smith, and also the ESPN head of ESPN boxing writing, the chief boxing writer for ESPN, Mike Coppinger. Now, before I get into what was said on the Boxing Voice, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your support. You all are most definitely the reason we are able to continue to do this channel. So thank you so much for your support by watching the videos and your support in the live streams that we do every day. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to join our boxing community by hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon so you will know when we release more content, which is on a daily basis, and the live streams that we do every day. So let's get into this. Mike Coppinger and Ishe Smith had reported that the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford for the undisputed championship of the world, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO was all but done, and they were looking for a date in October in Las Vegas. So Ness of the Boxing Voice asked Bernie the Boxer, was there truth to that? Have you talked to Terence Crawford about it? And what did Terence Crawford have to say? Now, if you're not familiar with Bernie the Boxer is, make sure you go to his channel and subscribe to his channel. He's a very knowledgeable boxing guy that is out of the camp of Terence Crawford. You see him in the ring with him. You see him in training with him, encouraging him in training. One of the more valuable members of that camp, and somebody that regularly talks, gives his opinion and gives information related to Terence Crawford. And I think probably the most reliable guy in that regard, alongside of Brian McIntyre, Bomac, who is his head trainer. Obviously, there's other trainer, Red, and I'm not familiar with the Latino trainer, but his name as well. But those guys speak a lot less often. Now, what Bernie said was that Terence said there isn't anything going on. There's nothing going on with the money that's being money conversations. There's nothing going on with the location. There's nothing going on with the date. And so that there's no truth to what Mike Coppinger said or what Ishe Smith said about the fight being made. Now, also, what Bernie the Boxer pointed out was when he was given the information that, look, but Errol Spence retweeted that information, right? When Mike Coppinger related the tweet, Errol Spence Jr. reposted that on his Twitter. Now, clearly, Errol Spence Jr. is just as reliable a source about what's going on in the negotiations as Terence Crawford is. So that was, and that was definitely like, oh man, there may be some credibility to that, or there is some credibility to what Mike Coppinger is saying, because Errol Spence Jr. retweeted it, and I do believe he also tagged Terence Crawford. So the best that I can make out of this scenario is based on what Stephen Espinoza has said, because Stephen Espinoza definitely said conversations had begun. Errol Spence Jr. said conversations had begun, but there was roadblocks over the finances. Now, the rumors that were out there also about where there was the $20 million that Bud was asking for, and the 50-50 on the pay-per-view, right? Those numbers are out there, and that pretty much jived with what Steven Espinoza said. So the best that I can make out of this is that, Bud is just not wanting to give out any information about the negotiations, and he very well may be doing what people had rumored him to be doing, which is standing very steadfast on what he's requesting, right? And now Bernie said that he doesn't know anything about the business side of it. He wouldn't tell anybody, how much money he thinks Bud should make in the fight, or, he said, my take is that it's a 50-50 fight, 50-50 because, Bud is, it basically, I assume, because it literally is a 50-50 fight in the ring, that whatever split and whatever money and all that stuff that should be made, it should be split 50-50. But he was just really more insistent on saying that Bud should get what Bud thinks Bud deserves. Bud should get what Bud wants, right? And we know the words that came out of Bud's mouth was, I ain't fighting for 60-40. If anybody's getting 60-40, it's going to be me. He said, yeah, 50-50, 50-50, and maybe the fight would happen, right? Now he's saying, after the Errol Spence Jr. fight, after Errol called him out, he was saying, yeah, I want the fight. Yeah, I want the fight. But now it seems like he's the only one that's actually not talking about the fight and really not posting the fight. And one thing that Bernie said was, as a giveaway to what Terence Crawford is thinking, is that Terence Crawford did not repost what Mike Coppinger said. He didn't thumb it up. He didn't do anything like that regarding that post from Mike Coppinger. So that right there is a sign about where Terence Crawford is. He's probably still whatever conversations they had, because there's absolutely no reason to believe that Errol is not telling the truth and Steven Espinoza is not telling the truth when they said that these guys are already having discussions. Even Derek James said not too long ago that make sure that I got that right. Yeah, Derek James said, that Errol had already agreed and they're waiting on the response from Terence Crawford. Now, maybe what the vice president of communications for the PBC, what he said about it, Tim Smith had to say about it was, look, man, whatever offer we give him, we don't want it. We don't, he may find it insulting because he's used to making so much money. Now that could be the scenario as well. But at the very least, we can see is that Errol wants that fight. Errol is looking and basically said, look, if this fight doesn't happen, it ain't on me. You got Terence Crawford saying nothing is really happening with the fight, not retweeting that the fight is almost done. So, he may very well be saying, look, man, I'm just going to sit on my hands until you guys give me what I want. Because there's just no reason to believe that the negotiations hasn't started, and they have not had some type of exchange about that. So, it is what it is, man. Bud maybe just be hardballing. Now, one thing I will not say is if the case is that Bud is hardballing or Bud is dragging his feet on this, I don't think that has anything to do with this confidence about what will happen in the ring. I think that more than likely is a business type of situation, and it just is what it is. But we'll keep an eye on it on the channel. We've been talking about it for several years, so some more videos about it ain't gonna hurt nobody. Again, to my subscribers and supporters, thank you guys so much for continuing to watch the videos. Thank you so much for continuing to chop it up with me in the comment section of the live streams that we do every day, and in the channel where I get to comments when I can. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And with that, I'm out. Peace.